What's going on, everybody? What is going on? It is Friday, June 6th, 2025. I have no clue why it's only 13 people in this chat so far. But hey, it is what it is. I don't think I'm gonna be on here very long anyway. It's not gonna take me very long to get through this because it's mainly article based and it's only like 4 or 5 articles that I gotta go through when it comes to this particular topic. But anyway, shout out to everyone who is here so far. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Shout out to all the members, all the mods, everybody over there on Patreon. This is a live that I was gonna do on Wednesday, but then realized I couldn't because I went and saw that movie Ballerina, so I wouldn't have had time. So the live that I was gonna do Wednesday would have been this live, and today's live, the one I have scheduled for Monday, would have happened today. So be sure to be on the lookout for Monday's live as well, because that's going to be a triple P. That is going to be a live triple P on Monday. But shout out to everybody that is here so far. Isaac, George, Haxon, KT, Priscilla, Till Dog, Darlene. Shout out to Darlene for the $2.99 super sticker. I appreciate it. Shout out to Wallow J, Don P. Wallace said he got the Discord notification out on YouTube. Hey, it is what it is. I'm not sweating it. But today I'm finally going to be talking about this pardoning that, well, let me put it this way. This pardoning of NBA Youngboy by Trump and the commuted sentence of Larry Hoover. Because a lot of people seem to got real excited about the Larry Hoover one, saying that Trump pardoned him. I was like, no, he just commuted the sentence. It's not a straight up and down pardon. And it's only on Fed charges, not state charges. Remember, he still has that 200-year sentence through the state. So technically, he's not free, like many people would have some people to believe. So I'm not going to drag this along. Let's just go ahead and get into it. So NBA Youngboy, on May 28th, 2025, it went out that he got a pardon from Donald Trump. And like I said in the title, I believe truly that there is indeed a catch to all of this. I don't believe that this is something that's just done just because out of the kindness of Trump's heart. There's always a method to his madness. So let's go into this. And this is coming from Newsweek and see what they're talking about over here. It said on Wednesday, President Donald Trump pardoned rapper Kentrell Deshaun Gaulden, aka also known as NBA Youngboy, the White House confirmed to Newsweek via email. Rising to fame in the mid-2010s, the Louisiana native has been arrested multiple times since 2014 with charges ranging from robbery and attempted murder to drug and firearm offenses. Now, what I want people to understand is that you have the usual suspects that will get on there and say, when Trump does something like this, and say, see, Trump isn't racist. He likes black people. Look, he's pardoning NBA Youngboy. First of all, many of the people that are saying this about this guy don't even know who NBA Youngboy is, let alone even know of his music. But they want to come out there and say, oh, Trump is this and Trump is that. Second of all, they are the same people that love to tell black people to stop worshiping people like this in our community because they're bad for the community, yet they're praising Trump for pardoning someone like this. See, I'm telling you, the double speak with them is real. The hypocrisy with them is strong. They always say one thing and then say something else on the other side. That's why I don't listen to them. I do not trust them. They do not have a moral compass or ground to stand on. In a statement posted to social media, the rapper said, I want to thank President Trump for granting me a pardon and giving me the opportunity to keep building as a man, as a father, and as an artist. This moment means a lot. It opens the door to a future I've worked hard for, and I'm fully prepared to step into this. And also, I think another reason why they do this is because they're trying to get more black voters, or they're trying to get some support from a particular base. I think that's another reason they're doing it too. It's never really because, oh, they really want to or they genuinely feel like doing it. No, it's always an ulterior motive behind what it is that they do. He said he also thinks Trump's pardon czar, Alice Johnson. Youngboy continued, big thanks to pardon czar Miss Alice Marie Johnson for fighting for second chances for so many people, and to my lawyer, Brittany K. Barnett, for being in my corner and all your hard work to make this possible. And thank you to everyone who believed in me. From Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Youngboy is a prominent American rapper known for his emotionally raw music and relentless output, rising to fame with mixtapes like 38 Baby and AI Youngboy. He quickly gained a loyal following for his confessional style and gritty portrayal of street life. Again, the same thing that they keep trying to tell us that we need to not glorify, but I bet you they were all clamoring on Twitter saying that Trump is somehow a good guy. Despite limited mainstream media presence, his projects frequently top the charts, and he boasts billions of views on YouTube. He has 16.3 million monthly Spotify listeners with more than 15 billion total streams on the 681 songs in which he appears. In 2024, while under house arrest in Utah, the rapper was arrested for allegedly running a prescription drug fraud ring out of his multi-million-dollar home. He faced 63 charges, including identity fraud and forgery, an extensive plea agreement resulting in a 23-month federal prison sentence, a $25,000 fine, and 5 years of supervised probation following his release. With credit for time served, he was released in April and transferred to a halfway house in Phoenix to complete the remainder of his sentence under supervision. He served 11 months of his 23-month sentence. His decade-long history of arrest has not seemed to slow his productivity, as Youngboy has released numerous albums and mixtapes while incarcerated or under legal restrictions. The White House didn't explain why Trump pardoned the rapper. The pardon forgives Youngboy's federal crimes, though it does not erase any convictions from the record or imply innocence. Trump's move to pardon Youngboy comes amid a flurry of pardons for convicted Americans, mostly for those he feels fell victim to a politicized and weaponized justice system. It was also announced on Wednesday that the president commuted the sentence of former Chicago gang leader Larry Hoover, which we're going to talk about in a second, who had been serving a life sentence at a supermax prison in Colorado. Hoover's son, Larry Hoover Jr., has been outspoken about his father's time in jail and was featured in the rapper Kanye West's 2021 song, Jesus Lord. The artist, now known as Ye, and Drake held a concert for calling for Hoover's release. Ye also spoke to Trump in the Oval Office during his first term in 2018, advocating for Hoover's work while in prison. Conservative commentator George Behezi posted on X, formerly Twitter. He says, "I'm not necessarily supportive of pardoning thugs like Youngboy, but he should now live a normal, law-abiding human. Live like a normal, law-abiding human. His music should be wholesome. No more rapping about ops and gangs." In a separate post, Behezi said, "We don't have to pardon rappers and gang leaders. We can pardon real heroes who deserve it. Pardon Snowden, pardon Assange." Political analyst Dominic Michael Trippi wrote on X saying NBA Youngboy pardoned before Epstein files, unserious and ridiculous. So even some people are upset with Trump pardoning NBA Youngboy, but you know, they always have an ulterior motive as well. It's never just a straight thing. It's always, well, why can't you pardon this person? It says, what happened next? It says the rapper's upcoming 27 city concert run, which begins on September 2nd in Dallas, is called the Make America Smile Again tour. And apparent, there it is, y'all. Look at what his upcoming tour is called. Make America Smile Again tour, as an apparent homage to Trump. That's the payoff right there. So you know what? I'm pardoned. So let me just call my next tour this. Wow. So that's the payoff. Let me do like a dedication tour. That's crazy. But something recently just came out about NBA Youngboy yesterday. Exactly, D Money, Massa with one S. Interesting, right? On Vibe, it has been reported that Donald Trump's pardon for NBA Youngboy could be in jeopardy. Uh-oh. Let's see what they're talking about here. Hip-hop fans were elated when Donald Trump chose to pardon Youngboy, never broke against probation sentence for gun charges. However, Utah lawmakers didn't share that excitement and may look to fight against the decision. Basically, they're saying that he should not get this pardon because it's a reason why he's locked up and needs to serve out his sentence. He says, "We are extremely proud of the work our investigator and prosecutors did on this case, as well as grateful for all the help we received from other local and federal agencies. Mr. Gordon Youngboy pled guilty to the charges in this investigation, and we feel strongly the justice system in Cache County is far from a weaponized system of justice. We have highly trained, honest, experienced, and professional sheriff investigators and county prosecutors, along with respected district court judges and defense attorneys. Trevor Lee, a member of the Utah House District 16, supported his perspective on X. As a state, we should still go after him, he wrote in a now deleted tweet. It is unclear whether Utah lawmakers will be successful, but it is clear where they stand on Youngboy, never broke again. The Baton Rouge, Louisiana rapper had been living in the state for a few years now while serving his house arrest sentence. Last year, he pleaded guilty to felonious gun possession charges and was sentenced to 23 months in prison, 5 years of probation, and had to pay $200,000 for a separate gun charge. This past March, he was released from prison and credited for time served, allowing him to return to home confinement, which he completed in April. And the rest I already talked about in the previous one. So they're trying to basically, what it sounds like to me, overturn what Trump did. But see, that's federal charges, so they may not be able to do it. But they're trying to get him on the state thing. To me, it sounds like they didn't get him on the state stuff, which they're probably kicking themselves now of them doing, because if they did, then he would still be locked up. And let's see what y'all talking about in the chat. It's only 39 people in here. Like I said, I don't think the notifications went out at all for it to only be 37 people in here, but that's okay. Gloria says, I never heard of this. He says he gets what he gets. I didn't ask for this. Cut the check. D Money says, so massive. Man, listen, the jokes practically write themselves. Wait, what's going on, Dre Mac? Oh, Dre, I hope you're ready for tomorrow. I already have the video already uploaded in the background. I'm gonna set the premiere window up tomorrow, and I'm gonna send you the link probably to your DM on Instagram, like I usually do when it gets ready to premiere. But yeah, so I just want y'all to get an idea that this is who Trump is deciding to pardon. Out of all the black people that he could pardon that actually deserve a pardon, this is who he decided to give a pardon to. But it doesn't stop there, because of course the big one that people were talking about, and I think a little bit more, way more actually, than NBA Youngboy was the commuted sentence, of Larry Hoover. Now this name definitely rings a bell in Chicago, but it rings bells around the nation because his name was used in a lot of hip hop songs, mainly the one that Rick Ross did years ago. And I think that's how some people who weren't familiar with him found out about who he was. But he got a commuted sentence from Trump on the federal side, not a full pardon, because he still has those state charges, which I'm sure just kicked right on in because of that commuted sentence. So what does this say? Trump commutes federal life sentences of Larry Hoover, Chicago gang leader. Mr. Hoover, a drug kingpin who was convicted of leading a vast street gang from inside an Illinois prison, has also been convicted of murder. It says President Trump on Wednesday commuted the federal sentences of Larry Hoover, age 74, who was serving 3 life terms for running a notorious Chicago drug gang out of a prison cell, according to the White House. The commutation is not expected to put Mr. Hoover back on the streets of Chicago. He has over 100 years left to serve on state murder charges in Illinois that presidential clemency does not erase. But it may lead to his transfer out of the Supermax prison in Colorado, where he is held. Ironically, he is literally in the next state over, or from NBA Youngboy, because he was in Utah and he's in Colorado. It says Mr. Hoover had already been locked away in Illinois since the mid-1970s for the murder of a rival drug dealer, excuse me, when federal prosecutors dragged him back to court in 1997. They accused him of running a vast and highly organized gang known as the Gangster Disciples that had nearly 30,000 members in Chicago alone and raked in $100 million a year, trafficking drugs across the country. Mr. Hoover, prosecutors said, was known as King Larry, or the chairman, by thousands of youth who pledged undying allegiance to him. He was convicted of federal drug conspiracy charges and moved to a federal prison in Florence, Colorado, the highest security prison in the United States. According to the Chicago Sun-Times, Mr. Hoover had previously requested early release under the First Step Act, a criminal justice reform passed during Mr. Trump's first term that aimed to expand early release programs for those who committed nonviolent crimes and drug offenses. Mr. Hoover wrote to a federal judge in 2022 that he was no longer the Larry Hoover people sometimes talk about, or he who is written about in the papers, or the crime figure described by the government. The judge denied the early release request. Mr. Hoover's case has been a cause of celebra for years. In 2018, when the rapper Ye, then known as Kanye West, visited the Oval Office, he brought one of Mr. Hoover's lawyers and told the president it's very important for me to get Hoover out. Because the president can commute only federal sentences, Mr. Hoover will likely have to serve the remainder of his 150 to 200 year sentence for his state murder conviction in Illinois, because they're not about to let him out. They're not about to drop those state charges for nothing. They're keeping those things in. The Gangster Disciples are still active in Chicago. The gang's members continue to be prosecuted by the federal government, accused of racketeering, drug trafficking, and murder. So that's that article right there. And there's only really one article to go off of him. It's not really any updates involving Larry Hoover. This is just the main one right here. So again, this is who he's deciding to give a pardon to. But there was another person that popped up that I don't know how true it is, but they say that allegedly he would possibly give him a pardon, not saying that he would give him a pardon. And that person is none other than a person that is on trial right now, Diddy. So allegedly, Diddy might get a pardon from Trump. Allegedly, y'all. We're just going to say allegedly. Will Trump pardon Diddy? Their relationship and trial updates. Donald Trump loves demonstrating his presidential power and inserting himself into celebrity drama. So despite the fact that Sean Diddy Combs is facing many horrific allegations and his federal racketeering and sex trafficking trial is ongoing, there's long been speculation that Trump will issue a pardon. And now Trump has said he's open to helping out Diddy, whom he once called a, quote, good friend. So will Trump pardon Diddy? Can he even do that? What's the history of their friendship? How is 50 Cent involved in all of this? Here's a guide which will keep updated to the role Trump might play in the Diddy legal saga. It says, yes, Article 2, Section 2 of the Constitution gives the president power to grant reprieves and pardons for offenses against the United States, except in cases of impeachment. Federal prosecutors in the Southern District of New York have charged Combs with 5 criminal counts, as NBC News summarized. He faces 1 count of racketeering conspiracy, which carries a maximum sentence of life in prison, 2 counts of sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, which carries a maximum of life in prison and a mandatory minimum of sentence of 15 years, and 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution, which carries a maximum sentence of 10 years in prison. Combs has pleaded not guilty to all charges. He is also facing a dozen of civil suits, but those are separate from the federal criminal trial, and Trump can't issue a pardon in those cases. Trump said he would consider it, though he claims no one has asked him to do so. A reporter asked Trump if he would pardon Diddy during a May 30th news conference in the Oval Office, into which Trump said, nobody asked, but I know people are thinking about it. I know they're thinking about it. I think some people have been very close to asking. First of all, I'd like to look at what's happening, and I haven't been watching it too closely, although it's certainly getting a lot of coverage. Now, it's funny that Diddy's on trial for what he is on trial for right now, as we can see. And then you look at what happened with Elon and Trump yesterday, and the stuff that and the dust up from that is very, very interesting. He says, I haven't seen him and I haven't spoken to him in years. He used to really like me a lot, but I think when I ran for politics, he sort of, well, that relationship busted up from what I read. I don't know. He didn't tell me that, but I read some nasty statements in the paper all of a sudden. So I really don't know. I would certainly look at the facts. If I think somebody was mistreated, whether they like me or don't like me, it wouldn't have any impact. I call BS on that because he only does stuff for people that are loyal to him or like him. Why would Trump even consider pardoning Diddy? This seems like a very long article. I'm not about to read this entire thing. I think we can get the gist of it. I'll read a little bit more. It says Diddy's close associates have been cozying up to the Trump administration in the hopes of securing a pardon, according to a May 16th Rolling Stone report. During the presidential transition and in the opening months of Trump's second administration, several longtime friends and allies of Combs, who've known the rapper for many years, began reaching out to some Trump transition and administration officials, as well as to others close to the president. Two sources familiar with the matter and another person briefed on it tell Rolling Stone. The sources spoke on the condition of anonymity due to the sensitivity of the situation, on the condition that Rolling Stone not name certain individuals involved with these secret talks. He's willing to do anything to get out of jail, a source who has known Combs for a decade tells Rolling Stone. He's always been this way. He's always going to do what he has to do to get out of a situation. Well, that's saying a lot, considering a lot of people have some things to say about him in general. It says he doesn't even like Donald Trump, they add. It does not sound like Combs' associates have made much progress on the front. The report notes that the small number of top Trump officials who have been privy to these efforts have expressed deep reservations about a pardon, and there's no evidence that Trump is personally aware of any of said conversations. On the other hand, it does seem like something Trump would do. The president has been on a pardoning spree in recent weeks, sparing a MAGA-aligned sheriff convicted of bribery, a donor's son found guilty of tax crimes, and a pair of reality TV stars convicted of tax evasion, not to mention 1,500 January 6th rioters. And by the way, all that stuff that they just mentioned right there, I do have videos coming up on, I think, on all of them, or at least two of them. In a recent interview, former Death Row Records CEO Suge Knight, who was in prison for voluntary manslaughter, suggested that Diddy will be fine if he gets convicted. Trump's going to pardon him. In an Onion headline joke, Sean Combs asked for quick trial so he can get to part where Trump pardons him. Now, this one says, what is 50 Cent's role in all of this? It says the rapper is a longtime Diddy foe, and he's currently co-producing a Netflix docuseries about the abuse allegations against Diddy. In a series of Instagram posts, 50 Cent suggested he's going to try to convince Trump not to issue a pardon. He is quoted as saying, he said some really bad things about Trump is not okay. I'm going to reach out so he knows how I feel about this guy, 50 Cent said in the first post on June 1st, which has now since been deleted. In another deleted post, he wrote, Donald doesn't take well to disrespect and doesn't forget who chooses to go against him. While working tirelessly to make America great again, there is no room for distraction. He would consider pardoning anyone who was being mistreated, not Puffy Daddy. And see, this is the thing right here. 50 Curtis Jackson, why are you sounding like Donald Trump's handler? Like, what in the world? Now I see why Professor Black Truth did that video on him a couple days ago. Why does it sound like you're his script writer? It says later 50 Cent clarified that he isn't looking to, quote, nuke Diddy's pardon chances. He just wants to make sure Trump is aware. And I think he's also doing this that way just in case that if 50 gets into some situation, he can be like, hey, Trump, I was the one that gave you the heads up on not to pardon Diddy. So, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. It says on June 2nd, 50 Cent followed up by posting 2 old clips of Diddy insulting Trump. It says on June 4th, 50 posted a video of Trump's lawyer, Joe Tacopina, talking about a potential pardon, joking, this guy Joe is a good lawyer. If I wasn't a law-abiding citizen, I would have him around. And it goes on and on and on, but it's a very long and lengthy article, but y'all pretty much get the gist of it. And the last thing I want to go over, and even though this has nothing to do with the topic, I just wanted to talk about this because Lisa actually gave me the unexpected alley-oop with this. So in case y'all don't know, another topic of discussion that's been going on with Trump is him allowing these white South Africaners to come over here. And remember, they said it was like 59 of them. And I said, I bet you it'll probably be more. It says 59 now, but I bet you be more later. Well, looks like my hunch was possibly correct, because according to the Independent, it says Trump administration plans to resettle, quote, thousands of white South Africans in the U.S. this summer. Now, I want y'all to pay attention to something. When they were talking about the migrants that are here, they were calling them illegal immigrants, illegal migrants, or just plain out illegals. But with them, They don't call them illegal or migrants or immigrants. They call them refugees. That way, like that's why I say you always got to pay attention to verbiage. If you call them refugees, then that means that'll give them a chance to innate what they say resettle, come from one place to the next. Remember last week we went over in the video that Trump got debunked about there being a white genocide going over there in South Africa. Those articles that he had, all of them were fake. Those pictures was as horrific as they were, had nothing to do with the alleged white genocide that was going on over in South Africa. All of that got debunked. But see, the thing is, Trump is not going to come out and actually say that he lied. He's not going to say that. He done got his base all excited about it because there's white people coming over here and they feel like they'll be more better. Some of them think they might be better, more better Americans than us FBA. So I'm just giving y'all a heads up. Y'all might be getting some new neighbors. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But anyway, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and drop the link down here. Like I said, it wasn't a lot to go over with this particular story. And there's not a lot of people in here for some reason. I don't know. The notification just didn't go out. But I think Afro's also live right now. So it's probably a lot of people over there. So that's probably what it is too. I don't know. It is what it is. But if anybody would like to come up and speak about this or towards this topic, feel free to go ahead. If not, then I will shut it down. I'll give it to about 7:45. And also, by the way, shout out to everybody that has been voting in the Black Music Month polls that I have been putting up every day so far. The 7th one will be going up tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that one. All right, let's see. We got Jonathan. What's going on?
What's going on? Yeah, yes, I beat Bottle J for the first spot finally. Okay, so yeah, that is some crazy news, and I was just about to bring up the South African situation when this was about Trump, pardoning people like NBA Youngboy and them, so give votes. And man, have you noticed that all the blacks that Trump gets is always the famous ones because they're famous for popularity. With, they'll use their popularity to bring blacks on when every black person is aware of the coon behavior that these black celebrities have shown. And all they're going to do is just tear us away. So if Trump thinks he was going to get away with that, he's sadly mistaken, him and NBA Youngboy. And now with white South Africans coming here, just along with the black South Africans, doing all this work for Trump, it's going to be so much hell, trying it's like that's going to be overbearing. Like it's going to be, they're going to try to outnumber us, and it's going to be hard to fight back on this. So, um, when he got elected back to president, this was what I was afraid of. Yeah, there's so much stuff going on that I'm like even unaware of that I need to like look into more of this because Trump has been quiet, and I don't know if you heard any news I haven't heard about him, but I think that's why he's been so quiet because he's been doing stuff like this, and it's been going on under our nose, and I didn't see it coming. So yeah, I'm definitely praying for our protection, and hopefully we can get through this. Um, and no one follows NBA Youngboy, Diddy, or or any black celebrity that's trying to convince us that Trump's good out because they pardoned him. So I'm gonna just land my plane there and just say, stay away, stay aware, everyone. Be
Appreciate you
one.
coming up. Good one. Shout out to Jonathan for coming up. Next up, we got the Informant Media. What's going on?
Yo, what's going on, man? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
So when it comes to this whole pardons that he's given, This guy, I forgot the rapper's name already. I'm not even worried about it because I think he's the loser who was having his chick go up there and get some pills from a pharmacy under a false name, and he was doing it. But also there's the Larry Hoover. He's pardoned. I don't mind the Larry Hoover because he spent over 50 years in prison and his sentence was.
I can't hear you. Like your sound went out. The informant media, if you are speaking, I cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, my phone. I don't know why my phone turns off. I'm live. But the Larry Hoover thing, you still got to go to the state trial. When it comes to the Blueface thing, the dude literally was buying pills illegally. He shouldn't have been pardoned. He's a criminal. He should have stayed in prison. Pardoning these people means absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things because they're criminals who are go back to the same thing. I'm pretty sure Blueface or whatever his name is going to go back to doing pills and everything. But the whole thing about the pardons, it means nothing. I don't mind them being pardoned, but how does that help anybody in society? Nobody is going to benefit. I don't care about a rapper getting pardoned. I don't. I don't really care about Larry Hoover getting pardoned. Even though I think that Larry Hoover was, even though they had no real evidence besides that. Unfortunately, the people that were going to testify against him and some other people that he knew got deleted. That's what and they said he called the hits. Um, my whole thing is Blueface is a nothing burger. Larry Hoover, respectfully, is a nothing burger. Trump did this. I guess he thinks that black people would love this, even though he had Kanye West, who's off his medication, or he needs to be on some medication that somebody needs to recommend him. This does nothing in the grand scheme of things. However, with that being said, Trump can do so much more. I think if Trump were to actually do something for the Tulsa survivors, that would actually prove that he's more beneficial to black people than the Democratic Party, who uses them as a pawn in their grand scheme of things. Um, but to make this long story short, I don't know. I don't know what to say about this, man. I'm actually very disappointed about this, man. Blueface, Larry Hoover, shout outs to the no, not shout outs to Larry, Blueface. Shout outs to Larry Hoover. Blueface, I wish they would have gave you 500 years, to be honest with you, but it does nothing for black people. He should have did something exclusive for black people. I don't need some Negro named Kanye West who's walking around with a black KKK robe, hanging out with people like DJ Academics, who's on screen talking to a 14-year-old, asking him about sex changes and ex behavior. I don't need that. We don't need screw all that. Screw Kanye West. Screw Blueface. Shout out to Larry Hoover. That's all I gotta say, man. I mean, this is a nothing burger. That's it, man.
Appreciate you coming up. Like I was saying though, I think like for me it's the hypocrisy because like I said, you have certain people out there that will tell black people to stop glorifying these type of people, but then you have a president literally coming part in the same type of people that you tell us not to glorify, and then you try to turn around and say, see, Trump isn't racist or he isn't anti-black. That's one of the main issues that I have is the blatant hypocrisy in that stance. But anyway, y'all, like I said, this is a very short live tonight. I don't know where everybody is at. The notifications, like some of y'all said, it's very glaring that the notifications didn't go out like that because I never have numbers this low. This is like numbers that are for people who are just getting started. Like this is kind of numbers I was getting when I had like 5,000 subscribers. But it is what it is. Tomorrow, definitely be on the lookout for it's a major video that I have coming tomorrow. Oh, hold on. What's going on?
Okay, yeah, I shouldn't have came back on, but hey, you got some low numbers, whatever. I think because everybody's live streaming right now. That's why I think it is.
That might be what it is.
Yeah, everybody's live streaming right now, and I think it's going wild on the internet right now. Hey, I don't know if the Dre Max show heard me, but yeah, most definitely invite me on. I would love to have a debate with you on that Last of Us stuff. But Torian Rain, great job, man. Screw Blueface. Shout out to Larry Hoover. It is what it is, man.
All right. But like I was saying, make sure tomorrow there's gonna be a major like almost like a podcast style video that I'm doing tomorrow. It's gonna run for almost 2 hours. It's gonna run for it's gonna start at like 10:10 and run to nearly 12. So this is a very long video. And it's gonna be me. And speaking of the Dre match, I don't know if Dre is still in here. And it's gonna be another person, someone I've had on the channel before. We did a collab video. We recorded it at the beginning of the week. Actually, we recorded it on Sunday. And it's going to go up tomorrow. So definitely be on the lookout for that one and lock in for that one because we're going to be talking. We're going to be chatting it up. The next time I go live will be on Sunday. True Crime Sunday is on Sunday. Again, the next Black Music Month poll will go up tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. And shout out to everybody that's been contributing to that because I've been posting them up on YouTube. I posted on Twitter, Threads, Instagram, and the stories. I posted up on the Facebook stories as well, and also in the Discord. So that way more eyes can see them. And it's been a lot of engagement. It's the one, I think the one yesterday had the most engagement so far. But it's going to be interesting. I'm loving what I'm seeing so far. When we do the Black Music Month jam session at the end of the month, the last Saturday on Rumble, it is going to be so much fun. I'm looking forward to it. But with that being said, everybody, I'm about to go ahead now and end the live. I'm going to put the premiere window up for tomorrow's, not stream, but tomorrow's video. And make sure y'all go ahead and like that and hit the notification bell and the notification button so y'all can see what that topic is going to be all about tomorrow. And with that being said, I'm about to get up out of here. I think some of y'all said that Afro is live. They said Black Alpha is live. So that's probably why the numbers are low because we're all live at the same time. So that's probably most likely what the case is. And with that being said, I will talk to you all or see you all tomorrow. Be safe and most importantly, be one.